welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is game 2 time on the day. ahq versus Team Liquid, and this could be some really interesting stuff for the groups, because 2-1 is looking like the aim of the game here for Team Liquid.
Certainly is. I mean, it'll be the end of the first round robin for their group. Every team will have played their 3 games, and TL, certainly looking to keep pace with the top of the table. Whereas, you have to say ahq feels like you need to start picking up some wins.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that if you're TL right now, this is a game that historically you really don't want to lose because you've done all the hard work, right? You split 1-1 with the top of the group. It potentially could be. I just want to float the idea for our audience at home.
Thank you. I'm sure we all appreciate that.
Yeah, no worries. ahq, on the other hand, they kind of look lost, to be honest. They come into this lineup. They have changed out their mid laner. It hasn't looked to have paid any serious dividends from what I've been able to discern from their gameplay so far. And they have been a team that has been willing to mix up between this mid game and late game and not really yet settling on a style.
Yeah, and I mean, that's really the tough part, right? Because I think that, when you look at them in the LMS, they're much more of this kind of slow-paced team looking towards the late game. But they have been struggling, I think, when they go full scaling, to be able to keep up with some of these teams and not just get run over, not get out team fought in those later stages. So we saw them kind of pivot a little bit, try to go a bit more early game, and that didn't work either, as they weren't able to kind of be proactive enough, in their game, I believe, against Down 1 yesterday.
Yeah, and ahq have been this team that's looked like they've had things under control when it comes to the early game, understanding where to be. They have a game plan moving in, but I think that the game plan sort of falls off after about 20 minutes in, and they don't really understand how to close out, and teams just roll over the top of them. They're, in fact, a participant in the fastest game at Worlds so far, and that was against Damwon. And fun fact, it was not a victory. So let's see what happens as we get into Champion Select. They have an opportunity now to even things up with Team Liquid by giving him that second loss in the loss category. But Team Liquid can get towards equal first in this group as well to make things very interesting.
Yeah, one thing I will say is very few teams have ever gone 0-6 in groups. And, often these teams, even if they do finish 4th, can be the deciders in the group, right? Especially when you are looking at some of these groups and you're saying, all right, 3 of these teams might be able to make it out. Anyone who drops a game to ahq all of a sudden is in danger of losing their quarterfinal berth.
Well, let's see what happens here as we are well and truly into the ban phase. Jarvan, the LeBlanc, and the Akali all taken away from TL, as the Pantheon, the Kayle, and the Syndra off the board. That's going to mean that Qiyana does sneak her way through. She is going to Terra Shape her way over to ahq's side.
Now, I do wonder if this signifies we're going to see something similar to what they showed us yesterday. We saw the Qiyana Rumble. This is something that, if you've watched LCS, you've seen from Clutch Gaming quite a bit. It's very mid-game focused, and it's very heavily execution-based. You have to pull off these team fights really, really well and have your engagements down perfectly, or you will get run over in the longer fights.
And I wonder whether this is going to be a flex pick, because Alex does have some form of control over the early game for this ahq roster. I actually think it's why their early game looks better than their mid game. And I would like to see Qiyana in the jungle. From what I've seen so far, has had a lot more success with the ability to roam around the map. Rainbow went Moby Boots Rush yesterday and then laned for another 5 to 10 minutes after the fact, which I wasn't necessarily a huge fan of. So I think that they need some proactivity. I would like to see some pushing lanes and, open up the map quickly.
I do really like the first 2 picks here as a response to TL. When you think about priority for them in the bot lane, it's Kai'Sa, it's Xayah. Xayah, is more safe against these types of assassins because you can reactively use your ultimate to try to avoid a lot of the damage coming through if you're going to get dove upon. Gragas, really high priority jungler, and I'm not sure that Ysera has the confidence to take a Rakan away from CoreJJ.
At the same time, I do think that if you've already got an AD assassin, you do want some form of magic damage in the bottom lane to be able to mix up your damage archetype. So I would like to see them go towards Kai'Sa, which they do, because I think that this now takes the pressure off Ziv. He can play an R if he wants. He can have a Kai'Sa that can build that full AP and still be completely fine in how your damage is weighted throughout this game.
Well, Renekton now being considered probably the latest we've seen a Renekton in a draft thus far, as Team Liquid looking at it. Impact with an opportunity to get a very strong laner and continue his dominance here at Worlds so far.
Yeah, and Renekton has been very successful. It is actually going to be the Rakan, because if you don't go Rakan there, it's going to be banned out in that next phase. But Renekton, is still a possibility if it gets through the bans, because it is actually sitting at 3-1 in the World's group stage, has been very effective. The sole loss was Damwon, I do believe.
No, it was Griffin.
Oh, my mistake, Griffin.
He had a rough game, okay? You got to stop being mean.
What do you mean? I was patting you on the back. I was trying to cheer you up.
I know. It felt patronizing, but that might have been due to the first 3 letters of the word. Bans taken a while as the Aurelia finally comes in for Team Liquid. And now ahq wondering what they need to take away. I mean, I think the Renekton is something that they could look at banning here, as it was hovered for a long time, but it is going to be the Gangplank instead.
Yeah, they are going to be targeting impacts here a bit. Aatrox's still available, something he could go pretty heavily towards. Renekton an option, Jason option. So, Impact certainly isn't just pigeonholed into this one champ, but Gangplank traditionally has been his best performing champion and also really suits the style that TL likes to play. They want to play weak side top lane, focus towards the bot, and GP assists and does that very, very well.
Especially with the first 3 picks they have, right? Like, this is just the wheelhouse of being able to get into that bottom lane and set up very simple...
Okay. Team Liquid don't really mind.
That I mean, we'll get some information, but it looked like it was just timed out, and that's certainly a mistake. There's really never a reason to not use a ban, even in a situation where you don't feel like something's high priority, then you can ban something there's a 0% chance that you're going to play, and it's still an advantage. So certainly a mistake, it seems, there from Team Liquid. And it appears that we are continuing forward in pick ban.
Yep, doesn't look like it is going to be a misdraft or anything like that. You can see that at least Doublelift is not going to be saying anything. Is Jensen going to go back to definitely old comfort in the Orianna?
And also pairs up very well with the Rakan, right? We already have explosive engage here. You have wave clear with the Orianna. The Rakan, the Gragas both can be diving in, pairing up with that Orianna. Certainly follow-up CC is there as well for Team Liquid. So this is really tried and true Team Liquid style. They're going to be saving Impact's pick for last here to try to preserve some safety there from on the top side.
Yeah, and if we do see this in Italy, it's going to be... No, it's not. It's going to be a Sylas. I was going to say the CC setup that is there for Italy this game, with the ability to have a point-click CC on Qiyana as well as Nautilus, can set that champion up for a lot of success.
Rumble Qiyana.
Ooh.
It's happening once again. Looks like that is going to be jungle Sylas potentially, unless he's going to make a trip towards that mid lane in replacement for the Qiyana. Still some flexibility for ahq as, Team Liquid, they may as well go back to the Crocodile here. 10 seconds on the clock. But this will be a very standard, extremely comfortable composition for Team Liquid, and they will lock that one away. We mentioned that late game scaling is a big thing for Worlds 2019, and Team Liquid have that in spades.
Yeah, they certainly do, but I don't necessarily think that they just automatically lose out on any of these mid-game team fights either. So I think that this is a really great crafted draft coming through from Team Liquid, and it has all the right recipes, right? It's got a good weak side top laner that can play aggressively if he gets lane ganks. It's going to have Doublelift and Jensen set up for a lot of this team fight success.
Yeah, it really is, and I mean, I think this is the bread and butter for Team Liquid, right? This is how they have won 4 straight championships in North America. You can see that ahq was trying to deny the proactive picks from Jensen, though, targeting the Akali, the LeBlanc. Those are kind of the main go-tos for early game power and priority that Jensen will look towards, because ahq wants to scrap. They want a team fight. They want to try to get things going. But to your point, as long as you're at 6, as long as you're on 1 item, Team Liquid's looking great in those 5v5s.
Not to mention the top side of the map. I mean, I think that this Renekton is going to be really, really strong, much like Longxing was yesterday, with his Renekton being able to bridge towards top side advantages. Actually, it wasn't yesterday, day before that, I tell a lie, but Team Liquid certainly with a lot of tools to get them towards Orianna 3 items and the 3 items on their Xayah. Let's see if they can as we get into the next game. Here we are, guys, onto the Rift for game number 2 of the day. ahq with the blue shorts versus Team Liquid, looking to even things out with Damwon and Invictus Gaming in this group, meaning it's going to be very interesting going into that second round robin.
And I want to kick things off with what has changed for Sylas and why he's kind of fallen out of meta. And it really is all about the ability to early skirmish as well as he was, and his clear speed has gone down. So this is a champion that still is going to be a teamfight powerhouse. He's got some great ults to be able to take away on the side of Liquid. But I want to see how Xmithie, who in my opinion is one of the most intelligent junglers in the world, looks to punish the weaknesses that now exist in this Sylas's game.
Yeah, and I think, really the best way to judge is Xmithie having a successful game or not is what did the other jungler get done, right? Because this is a guy that oftentimes is not looking to just solo carry, to farm it out and just dominate the game himself. He's looking to neutralize the opposing jungler and enable, his superstar carries here for success to be able to get to those items where he knows Doublelift and Jensen are going to be able to take over in a lot of these games.
And let's get realistic. If AHQ's comp hasn't done anything before 12 minutes, it's probably been a very, very bad game for AHQ. They need to be able to stagger these objectives, be able to attack the top side of the map, especially because if it left isolated, Rumble versus the Renekton can turn into quite a nightmare.
One thing, though, if you're talking about getting something done in the early 12 minutes, first Infernal, right? That's going to be really nice for AHQ. If you want to try to have the ability to try to force TL to come to you in the early stages, hey, set up around that Infernal, and maybe TL is feeling, I'm not sure if we can give that up.
The thing I'm scared about here on AHQ's side is that Drake is going to be spawning around the 5-minute mark, and are they actually that strong at that particular point in the game? Because Orianna going to have pretty good shove there in the mid lane, range versus melee. Isolated moments before that level 6 mark, before the Rumble is really online, is still going to be a little bit of a challenge here for AHQ.
It certainly could be. However, I think Qiyana is kind of unrivaled in her pre-6 kill potential she has as soon as she grabs Rivers. That's a nice start.
Yep, potentially some kill pressure down here towards the bottom side of the map. CoreJJ utilizes the Guardian quite nicely.
Yeah, and you can see CoreJJ actually held his skill point. So, at level 1, he did actually hold his skill point. He gets hooked there. He levels up the E to just jump back to Doublelift and make sure that Doublelift was not in any danger whatsoever there. So, pretty intelligent play. And you can also see he has gone Spell Thieves, and Coin is certainly more common on the Rakan, but this is simply just because he feels he can kind of farm it out off of this Nautilus and really start to stack up the gold in that way.
And now we're seeing the Sylas back again, gentlemen. And Sylas, he was nerfed, he was then rebuffed, got a bit of that armor back. How are we feeling this guy fares in the jungle at this particular moment? As CoreJJ is actually in a little bit of trouble, but is otherwise going to be okay. Goes down to about 100 health as Doublelift looking for Wako, as we got some biffo on the bottom side, top side as well, as Xmithie's going to make his way in. Ziv not going to get stunned just yet, as there we go. Belly Bop comes forward, the slow comes down, Ziv gets under the turret, but there's the last auto. Beautifully done from Team Liquid to get first blood.
And you asked how we felt about Sylas. Well, he's just so slow, and that means that Xmithie gets a free gank top side. However, now, Alex, potentially looking to pay that back.
Yep, the Abductive Scon can come in there, lands the chains as Jensen's going to flash, but it ain't going to be enough. The flash forward from Alex, and they lock down the return kill.
Yeah, nicely done there. Flash EQ hits the root that guarantees the stun coming through from that Sylas, and it is, expensive gank there for AHQ as it costs them 3 summoners. Jensen does blow both of his, but you can look, Xmithie now is going to kind of have the advantage because he held onto his flash, as did Impact, so that's potentially setting up for a very easy repeat on Ziv.
Yeah, and this may not be a replay. We could just be seeing this again very, very quickly.
It certainly could be. However, this is Ziv trying to get away with that summoner spell, but I would have liked to see him hold it because I don't think there's any way out of that gank once you've been tagged up by the Renekton the first time around. This is what I was talking about. Pre-level 6, the ability to grab CC and then have an execute in your kit, ability to run Ignite as well because you are a Moby Boot user, means that Qiyana is very good at setting up those ganks.
And this is something, while you talked about how he rushed the Moby Boots yesterday, he was getting pushed in, right? And getting this gank, getting the advantage there from Alex may help him control the wave. Because if you're able to actually push Jensen in, then you can get use out of the Moby Boots. When you're under your turret, they are just worthless.
And this is what I was going to say. Whilst there is a big summoner spell discrepancy now in the jungle with the use of that flash, the fact that Jensen doesn't have any summoner spells of his own means that he has to be incredibly careful. CoreJJ's back gets stopped. That's bigger than you would think because he probably misses a roam mid lane off the back end of that reset being stopped.
Yeah, it's very cheeky there. Very cheeky.
He certainly was. I mean, he wanted to get the Demolish out and then actually join the recall there from Doublelift. This also delays his Frostfang buy, right? If you want to actually go straight towards that, start increasing the income, he had enough gold for the purchase, so does go back and grab it. But yeah, it costs him about 30 seconds on the map because his recall is going to be set quite behind, and you can see Doublelift is already back to the turret.
Well, Impact just farming things out, was trying to go aggressively onto Ziv there, just knowing that he has the summoner spell advantage, but no Gragas in his back pocket. And it looks like Ziv is doing absolutely fine on his very comfortable rumble up there. Jensen has the wave back into a decent position for him here in the mid lane, as well as we're looking for what Xmithie's going to get done next, possibly here in the mid lane, as there is a flashless Qiyana he could try and get some work done against. In he goes. CoreJJ's even here. There's the flash forward. The grand entrance is down as Jensen diving on in, but it is going to be CoreJJ with the ignite and the last auto for the kill.
That is a beautiful punish there from TL. They knew the summoners were down from Rainbow. They bring up CoreJJ. Xmithie, who held his flash on that top lane gank, perfectly executed. And now this spells a little bit of trouble for Rainbow because, again, he's sitting on the Moby boots. He hasn't been able to get out of lane yet. And every time you're kind of put back on the clock, that is 900 gold essentially just kind of wasted.
However, I do have to question how they were able to execute that gank. There was no side of mid lane for Rainbow to be able to play towards there. And that's with a stopped recall. And you know that 30-second timer that we were talking about. That's Ysera not being able to get towards mid lane, lay down any good vision for his mid laner. And, you know, whilst it looks like a big individual blunder, I do think really the whole of ahq is at fault there. Alex now, however, may be looking for something bottom lane.
Alex is also 6, and they're bringing down Rainbow here, so he can steal potentially this Rakan ultimate.
Or a Featherstorm if he wants to reset aggro. He can do a lot of different things here as Alex tanks up the turret shot. Maybe a little bit too early as Xmithie comes down. He's got a control ward. And it's ahq just running away, tails between their legs.
And that's just indecisiveness. I feel like if they had gone immediately, you know, there are no summoner spells available on CoreJJ. Could have been a big win. However, now maybe trying to set something up in the jungle. This is where Qiyana is very strong at the start of the game.
It certainly is, and they'll probably get the blue buff, but this is a potential all-in here from Impact.
Impact has the dominance running. It's doing a lot of damage here to Ziv, who will have the scrap shield available. Throws out the flame spitter. He's not too hot just yet and gets under his turret.
And the reason I like that all-in from Impact is because now he has control of top wave and there is no teleport. So if they wanted to get this dragon off the end of pushing in bottom, pushing in mid, then that's going to be turret plates top lane for Impact and nothing really Ziv can do about it.
And you've also got to say, the Equalizer more important for that potential dragon fight than the Dominus is at that point in the game. So, you know, when you're looking for that aggressive play and you force out the Equalizer, that's a pretty preferential trade for Team Liquid.
However, big advantage here from ahq based on how they were playing their last game. I feel like they've already exited laning phase way more than they were able to. They're going for aggressive looks with this level 6 composition.
And is it right to look at this game and think that now is the time for ahq to get the work done? Are we now looking at them saying, ahq, if you don't do stuff in the next 10 minutes, you are just going to lose? That's what this game's feeling like to me.
I mean, there's always the chance of a misexecution or a throw, but if everything goes to chalk, I agree with you, right? You know, this is that time where they need to start getting things done, and they certainly don't want to be the ones, you know, giving up a dragon over here to TL. But with Xmithie at 6, the bot lane has hit 6. You know, Jensen is 6. Like, those ultimates are now online.
There's the quickness. CoreJJ able to precast it, and that is a very dead Nautilus. No aftershock for you, my friend. You had a CC bar above your head that whole time.
And what did Ysera think they're doing? They're not on the dragon. They've not rotated back into the laning phase. That's just an outright face check. You have a ward in the pit. That is such a crucial mistake at this stage of the game.
Yep. Emerald dreaming at that stage, I think. As thankfully I got 2 WoW aficionados on the desk with me. As Ziv clearing things out towards the top side, wishing that he could use that R button in a dragon fight coming up, because it is the dream Drake for ahq. They should be able to get it based on how strong their composition is, but now they're going to have to fight themselves into a position in order to utilize it. Ziv is still trading relatively well, and the teleport is going to come back up. That's an equalizer, actually. He's going for this one. Rainbow is in his back pocket, but a little bit too far away is Alex, also in a similar boat. Impact gets under the turret, but there's the CC, and Ziv grabs the kill. Now Xmithie wanting to utilize the extra turret damage as CoreJJ has to get out of there. Alex is going to be there in time, and CoreJJ limps away with 200 health.
Yeah, nice play, though, from ahq, getting out of lane, being proactive. They do take down Impact, and it looked like he died on Dominus cast. I'm not sure if the HP actually came through or not. Jensen not able to make it on that roam in time, so he will just push in this wave and try to deny some of the CS to recoup a bit of that disadvantage.
And let's get realistic. If you are an Orianna, you're not following this into the jungle, so always going to be advantage ahq right now. This is Ziv winning out on an earlier trade, and then the decision here from Rainbow to just burn the summoner spells early. I love to see it. Maximum damage combo, not using the W to hop closer, instead just recognizing that he needs to be able to execute before the dominance comes through.
Also holds the ultimate so that he could keep Xmithie away afterwards as well. That was exactly what he needed to do to survive that situation.
Yeah, and they do get the kill, but again, not only is it both the summoners off Rainbow, Alex actually flashed to try to take down CoreJJ. So now, once more, we have Xmithie with this window of opportunity, and this is going to prompt them to start it up, because CoreJJ is sitting on Flash, Xmithie is sitting on Flash. How does Rainbow try to approach the fight without just getting engaged on and killed? And ahq are coming over here, but TL have such better positioning.
Okay, well, the Dragon down extraordinarily low. Alex gets into the pit but can't steal it. Xmithie with good smite buttons as Alex steals away an explosive cast, but Xmithie goes golden and then destroys the Qiyana. Ysera right in the middle of the fight, but he's going down very low. Zip trying to come forward as well. He's thrown down the equalizer already, but it hasn't got the value that they want. He's still flashing forward, but can't do it. Doublelift gets the kill onto the Rumble, and now Wako has to flash to get himself out of the way. Xmithie still hunting as Alex will have the abscond, but there's the flash forward, special delivery. Here's a Sylas, and Doublelift gets another. 7-3, TL are destroying.
And the perfect early game from TL. They get the Dragon, they get the one team fight, and everything is expended here from ahq. That was just so well read.
This game to me has been all about the cooldown tracking, all about the punish on summoners spells here from Team Liquid, killing Rainbow when he committed to flashes for Jensen earlier. And now, starting this fight, knowing Rainbow didn't have any flash available, and they did, and Rainbow walks in as you like, but it was always going to be the turn onto this Qiyana, who they knew did not have the summoner spells available, and just track CoreJJ here, straight in, Shockwave to follow it up, Featherstorm to follow that up. They knew that if they just wiped Qiyana off the map, you were going to win in the extended fight.
And I really love proactive uses of the Featherstorm. Using a Featherstorm for damage instead of just waiting to try and use it for its safety. Understanding that if TL find those combos, they can just wipe two people out instantly.
He also used it to dodge out on a very nice cast coming across there. I do think, however, it was the... Oh, hook is on.
Yeah, that's going to land as the ultimate comes out as well, and Rainbow very comfortably shows the supreme display of talent in the mid lane.
And that was what wasn't available in the last fight, that supreme display of talent. However, now around Rift Herald, not going to be up again, and Impact's going aggressive.
It's an ulti trade here as Ziv lays down the Band-Aid. What looks like a little bit with that skin. I've said this before, Spawn doesn't like it.
I really don't agree.
The Band-Aid one.
I'll give you red carpet. You know, that's the
I know,
the
but
go-to.
it's so old, you know? It's
Yeah.
the tried and true. As the Rift Herald is going to be taken here, it's going to be ahq that secure it.
And I do want to see a proactive play in the next 50 seconds because you feel like ahq do not have the scaling advantage. They're probably 1,000, if not, 2,000 to 3,000 gold behind where they need to be. So I like the immediate drop. They need to start trying to ramp up into this mid game before, Jensen and Doublelift do come online.
Yep, 30 seconds before those plates are taken away as well. So Shelly able to raid the draws. Gets on in there. Doublelift going to clear her away. So not exactly the maximum value, but does still get a charge off. ahq continuing to try and put out fires around this map as Impact with some free time on the bottom. 10 seconds until those plates go down, and he's going to be able to eat through a few more as another cast comes in. That's from Xmithie. Alex able to run away with his quickness that he hijacked from before as the grand entrance comes forward. And Alex, he's surviving for a while. The Kingslayer is really strong, and now Rainbow gets in. Xmithie gonna get taken down. The beautiful bait, now the flash forward. The complete commitment from ahq as Ziv teleports in. Doublelift now completely by himself, manages to pop the depth charge with the Featherstorm and escapes, and now Ziv might be in trouble. Oh! Wind up, not quite enough as once again Ysera comes forward and kills Jensen. When will the action end?
TL with the absolute over chase there. As soon as the Rakan ultimate is popped from Alex, you just need to back off. They lost track completely of where the rest of ahq is. Impact did not have TP to join, and TL may lose this turret or more as well.
Yeah, another equalizer comes in, and Doublelift is completely out of position. Nowhere that he could go. As now Rainbow still diving on in for more. That's another ulti to be utilized in what feels like the same passage of play.
But this is what ahq need to do. They need to push the tempo of this play. They need to create the havoc and the bloodiness. And you have to give credit to Alex because he is able to use the quickness to create enough distance that this was at least going to be an overchase with the rotation coming out of the other ahq members.
And you're exactly right when you're talking about the fact that the ahq needed to be proactive and make these things happen. And that's exactly why TL shouldn't be the ones engaging. That's why they shouldn't be walking into these jungle corridors where they are strongest, and why they certainly should never be looking for it when they're at a TP disadvantage. So this is honestly just really sloppy stuff from the North American #1 seed, and Jensen even getting punished on the overextension there as well.
And when you see critical ultimates come out and you're the scaling team, all you should be thinking is this just bought us another minute and a half to get towards our objective of the game. We don't need to do anything. We chilling right now. Next Dragon coming up.
Yep, Control Ward comes in there from ahq. It is another Infernal. ahq trying to even the score there. Of course, we understand that the first Infernal is the most important one. ahq being able to get on even terms with TL for that one is certainly going to be very important. Now pushing out the mid lane, but able to get that inside track towards this river finally.
And now note that the solo laners of TL are both 11, whilst on the side of ahq they are only 10. That's a benefit of the better early game so far, and the ultimates could be huge in this next fight.
Yep, Predator has been popped here as Xmithie thinking about going aggressive, but TL do not need to. They can bide their time. They still have vision control on that Dragon. As there's another dredge line, max range as the equalizer is gigantic. It's a big shockwave, but is it going to be enough? Because Jensen was just popped at the beginning. Oh, it's a Brazen Flame Talon under 3 members. Impact limps away, but does survive in the end. And ahq, they may have the health bars to take this Dragon for themselves.
I think they should. They've got the inside track. They have the kill, and they are going to start this up. ahq find the engage and will even the Dragon score here. Team Liquid getting jumped on again. Jensen not having a stellar game here. 0-4 on the Orianna, gets caught once more, and I'm not sure if his flash came up after his death or not, but certainly a good engage.
And this is just what controlling River Brush gives you, the ability to create confusion. Jensen steps just too far forward, and the layering of CC is flawless.
Yeah, and that's honestly just a pretty big mistake there from Jensen, right? You know, that was nothing tricky about that. That was not a Nautilus ultimate to start it up. He just walked in range and hit him with the ulti, and then a great supreme display of talent there. Just barely not enough damage to take down Impact, and Doublelift trading back that damage does force some summoners out and push ahq back, but not before they had already lost the Dragon.
And these are the plays you need to look for as Qiyana. You need to be willing to expend that flash aggressively. They are able to equalize that Infernal Dragon, and we're going to get a third one of the game as well in 4 minutes' time. This is the perfect storm of ahq because you feel like they have until 25 minutes to really get a big enough advantage to control Baron. Otherwise, this game is going to be very difficult. And TL are forced to fight over every objective right now because they are so crucial.
Well, ahq are only even in gold, so they're going to need a little bit more than this in order to get those advantages that you guys have been talking about so far this game. Rainbow split pushing on the top side. Impact is doing the same for TL on the bottom side of the map. Now moving up towards his team, trying to close up the gaps here in TL's map. As you can see, it's all about who can get that vision around this Baron that's going to be spawning in about a minute and a half.
Yeah, and we're going to be treated to yet another Infernal. So, you know, more reason for these two teams to clash, and we'll see, you know, if anyone can get towards that 2-item mark before that point, because that is such an important break point. And Impact,
yeah, Zip looking for the harpoons, but slices over the wall. Impact's going to be fine.
And in the 1v1, Impact has done very well this game. However, that play that he didn't have teleport, that ahq went for on the top side of the map, has meant that Ziv now has 4 kills. And building towards that Leandri's Torment, which as far as Rumble is concerned, is just the be-all and end-all of the item build. Once you have it, you are well and truly online. So I think that this window of opportunity that is coming up for ahq needs to be capitalized on.
Oh, another max range dredge line onto Xmithie. He flashes, but there is still going to be that depth charge, and Wako has a killer instinct, and he's going to use it. Takes down the fat man in the jungle, and now ahq move up towards top side where there's an outer turret waiting for them. Impact could be an issue. We'll see what ahq is going to do about it.
Yeah, he certainly can. I mean, despite the 4 kills, he's still ahead on gold, but these picks from Ysera, back-to-back hooks, netting them kills, means not only do they get the kill, Jensen has to now back off because he doesn't have the support of Xmithie, so they're going to lose the top lane turret. They're going to get a kill. Now, Team Liquid don't really get much back at all besides a little bit of damage.
Yeah, and if you could continue to create this trade, you know, a little bottom lane chip damage for control of the top side of the map where the Baron is going to be spawning, where you can force the repetitive face checks coming out of TL members, ahq need to be able to make that gambit. Sure, eventually Impact is going to take, you know, the turret and then the base, but if they're not able to create these picks, then the game will stagnate. We've seen that happen too many times for ahq. I want to see them continue to play this aggressively.
Yeah, I really want to see them play proactively, especially now, because that Leandri's Torment that you were talking about just comes in from Ziv. You've got 2 of those lethality items in for Rainbow as well. very close to getting Wako online. Also, it's often 3 items that you look at, but these first 2 are going to be pretty good. And once that transformation comes in, everything's going to be great for the Kai'Sa. ahq, if you're going to fight, I think now is about the time. They've even got a lot of that CDR already built up onto Alex.
Yeah, I completely agree, right? You know, 2 items on mid and bot before TL. You know, yes, TL is going for some more expensive items, but IE completed as a made into a liar there by Doublelift. But,
yeah.
you know, this is one of those opportunities, I think, where relative power is going to be the most in their favor, really, as it's going to get this game.
And the goal should just be kill Doublelift. If you kill Doublelift, then the item discrepancy is actually massive in favor of ahq. And if you have a look at the tools, they do have the ability to do that. Now, Doublelift has his flash and his ultimate available, so I'd like to see, you know, potentially an aggressive ultimate from Ysera onto him before even the fight maybe starts to try and burn at least one of them.
Now, you can see, though, you know, TL is here first, and Rainbow was pushing up on the top lane, so TL will lose some of those minions, but as a result, they have, you know, kind of the first look towards the Dragon Pit. They have some vision around this, they have the pink ward set up, and it's going to be ahq having to check into them, which can be a very difficult situation if they can maintain control.
However, they do have the wards to be able to do for it. You can see they group first.
Another flash forward. This time Ysera doesn't get the dredge line. The depth charges in as Doublelift takes down the support. Already in this fight, ahq, they wanted the fight, but you can't do it if you're going to botch it like that.
Yeah, Ysera was feeling himself. He hit a couple of those big hooks in a row. This time looks for the flash. It doesn't even cost the summoner from TL. He just straight up missed it. And this should be Team Liquid's Dragon on spawn here.
And whilst you talk about nerves, you also have to talk about composure. And that was just Doublelift saying, you know what, I'm not in danger, however, fight on.
Yep, Alex is going to throw down the quickness of his own into the backline. Supreme display of talent is huge. Onto CoreJJ is now Impact. He has the ball on his head, but the shockwave isn't as strong as they want. The Dragon is snuck by Doublelift by himself, and they're not punished enough for not having their AD carry.
Yeah, I mean, Doublelift is soloing that, so my question is, yeah, TL got out with just the 1 death, but why, right? They're the ones choosing this fight. You are opting into a 4v4 when one of your strongest, if not your strongest member, is soloing out the Dragon. So again, TL certainly making some poor decisions, not being punished by ahq enough, I would say, in this situation, because Double Infernal is a great advantage. But that being said, it does not inspire the most confidence.
And I was going to say, you know, good on TL because they won the fight, they got the Dragon, and they did it without having to burn summoners on their carries. And now Jensen just has none of them available again because of that play in the mid lane. So that is going to be a huge factor in the coming Baron fights, as Xmithie might have caught out.
Well, Rainbow's actually looking to try and start the fight here. Is going to go invisible as the Chilling Smite comes down. Rainbow not an option. It is going to be the shutdown with command dissonance there from Jensen. Just out of position there as Rainbow as we have a look at this mid fight once again. The fight that should have never happened.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of just the dash in from Impact. Fairly bold. And Alex, you have to give him some credit. Utilizing the stolen ultimates quite well. Goes through with the Rakan ultimate, CCing up a lot of the members, and then Rainbow comes in with the Supreme Display of Talent, knocking down CoreJJ.
And isn't it just so fun to see Qiyana exist in this state in League of Legends? Able to go towards a triple lethality as well.
That's a weird word.
Just pushing 3 people into a wall and nearly one-shotting them all is certainly interesting.
Yeah, well, Jensen now going to be fighting against Alex. He hijacked himself that shockwave as now he's just diving on in. We'll have another Kingslayer, but the cavalry has arrived. There's so many shields, and Jensen just wanders away and watches Doublelift get the kill on the ahq jungler. That's got to be a tilter there for the ahq jungle member. That Alex was so close to getting that 1v1.
Yeah, he certainly was. The phase rush making quite a bit of a difference there for Jensen, proccing that and being able to pull away, but Alex is using these stolen ultimates so well. You know, timing his shockwave to pull Jensen back on himself in what was supposed to be the disengage for Jensen.
And once again, you can understand the aggression, maybe a little bit puzzling because it is jungler versus mid lane, but if you generate that pick, then all of a sudden you can turn towards a Baron, you can split the map in a way that is very hard for TL to approach, but credit to the Liquid this time around, they were able to rotate their thirst.
Well, now ahq going to be able to utilize the advantage. They're even on kills. They're not even on dragons, but now they're able to open up the map in the mid lane. They've still got a bit of a gold lead and really do want to convert it into even more. It's about snowballing the game from this stage for ahq so that TL can't get online as we have a look at this one more time.
Yeah, flashing on top of Jensen here to create that shockwave scenario is a really nice play. However, you can see that the rotation is just seconds quicker. The teleport is coming out and Nautilus, Kai'Sa are there, but it's just the Liquid players that are able to show up first and save their mid lane.
Now moving up to this Baron as well. As you can see, there is vision available for ahq, but not for very long. TL clear that one out, and it feels like they're first to every objective. Every Dragon fight, it's been TL's wards that need to be cleared, as that is a point of contention. ahq just a little bit behind in this mid game, trying to get that control that their comp needs.
Yeah, and something pretty key to note is no teleports are available for either team, right? It is just the one taken on each side. So if anyone shows bot lane, this could prompt the Baron rush from TL, but Rainbow is trying to set up a flank. They want to get mid lane control and then have TL funnel back into that mid lane and a potential Rainbow flank.
Impact had that wave pushed out towards the top side of the map, but he's going to regroup with TL. They're feeling frisky at this stage as Ysera once again looks for a hook, doesn't get it. TL lying in wait. Impact trying to be that big body in the front line, gets harpooned by Ziv, who's sitting on the very important equalizer, throws it out onto 4 members now as Xmithie's ult is stolen. Alex wanting to push them all back into the equalizer as Doublelift, a very early ultimate in this fight, is a supreme display of talent. A lot of damage as it runs around the red pit, but TL have just disengaged. So many R buttons now used.
It certainly has. However, now Baron is an option. They will not go towards it. They don't feel like they got enough out of Liquid, but the double summoner spells and ultimate burnt there from Doublelift.
Yeah, and that was just such a key flank from Rainbow that they did set up, because TL then has to retreat away from him, and that caused them to funnel up perfectly for the equalizer. So, as soon as they spot Rainbow, they know they want to get out of there. This is not a preferential setup to have ahq coming in from multiple sides, but Ziv sees the perfect opportunity for the equalizer, getting them so incredibly low. And as soon as you see Nautilus ultimate used on Doublelift, as we're going back to live.
Yep. Thought there might be some action, but that action could just be the outer turret falling here in the mid lane.
And it is going to be about multiple team fights and burning resources. So you see now Doublelift doesn't have the summoners available. Can they generate another one of these opportunities? Are they willing to split the map and make a bold call around Baron right now? They do have the damage. They have the transform out of Wako, and they do have so much control. However, still just trying to get control of that mid lane wave first.
Yeah, and TL is doing this very intelligently. They're mostly just using Doublelift to solo the dragons, so the rest of the squad can stay close enough to a potential Baron take if ahq did want to go for it.
I also feel like this is TL playing against the team rather than the composition, because they know that ahq have not been decisive. So far this tournament, even domestically, not necessarily able to really take the bull by the horns. So that was just a free Mountain Drake because they just assumed ahq weren't going to do the Baron, and it was a decent assumption. Well, now Supreme Display of Talent will find CoreJJ, and maybe Rainbow and the rest of the squad can start the Baron this time.
Did he even need ultimate there?
I don't know.
It looked way cooler.
It did. It looked great. I mean, everything lights up. CoreJJ goes pop. But that's just so much damage coming out of Rainbow, and he can force them to continually check this area.
Maybe he didn't need the Ignite, perhaps. As we're going to start this fight one more time. Another Feather Storm from Doublelift. He does do a fair bit of damage with the Blade Caller. Not quite enough value that you want, but he stays alive for so long. Eventually, he's going to be taken down by Rainbow in the backline. Impact's getting work done, but that's not the fight that the big crocodile needs to be in an ahq. They get the target they want. They only lose Wako.
Yeah, critically, though, that Wako kill means they can't actually take the Baron, right? So TL certainly are getting pressured very heavily. ahq turning in a much better game than we have seen from them thus far, utilizing these jungle corridors so incredibly well.
But once again, I do have to question the ultimate prioritization in this team fight from Ysera. Let's take a look at it. They have the opportunity to CC Doublelift after he comes down, but he expends it on Jensen, who is already split from the fight. That means so much damage comes out of Doublelift, and they're not able to turn onto the Baron because health bars are so low. I feel like even if they had lost Wako, if everyone else is full health, they can probably at least bait another Baron fight.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And it's one of those situations where I think his read is, Doublelift is dead for sure. Let's get the other prize too, right? And sometimes in those situations, it can be better to just commit the additional resources into the one member to kill them off immediately, because as you're pointing out, Doublelift did huge damage in that fight.
That should have been a 0 damage Xayah. Just CC'd from start to finish, should not have been able to get any abilities off, but that's just really well played from Doublelift, expending the maximum resources to be able to swing that one for his team.
I mean, after the Feather Storm, you should just be able to ult in and then press Q once, and the Xayah is dead. So I completely understand your call there. ahq still on this map, still with a lot of priority as we move up this mid lane. Xmithie standing on top of a ward. ahq not going to run towards him. As the rest of Team Liquid now dealing with a minion wave, and ahq will have inside track towards the Baron pit.
And this is a great mix of, decisive playmaking, but as well as good fundamentals. Every time ahq are approaching this Baron, they are going through mid lane. They are forcing TL to go through these chokes. And every time Liquid do that, they have to take the big risk of being able to set up the combo that is available. You can see once again, Qiyana on the flank, looking to generate another fight.
Well, Alex just poking there with the Q. Ysera is going to dive in. It's a brilliant equalizer as immediately the Gragas is going to fall. The supreme display of talent into the backline, runs around the wall, destroys a couple as ahq. They've lost no one. The ults were placed perfectly.
And that should be Baron. They've been able to pick up the 3 key members. It is only Impact and CoreJJ left available, and this time Wako lives.
And it's a brilliant team fight for ahq. They will get the Baron for sure, as you're saying, and a big advantage now in this game, trying over and over to pull off this team fight, and they are finally rewarded with that Baron.
And Atlas, it is just a press R comp. Press R and the enemy team will die. Let's take a look at this setup because it looks like they're able to weather the initial. It is going to be Xmithie tanking up the Gragas ult, but the damage that comes out from Rainbow on the back end, Jensen once again is there. He's in Zhonya's. It's a mistime and everything, and yet he still just gets one shot.
Yep. Rainbow turns up, and yeah, I'm glad we had the ultimate slowdown because watching that damage all come out in real time is very confusing. But still, beautiful stuff from ahq. They were able to get themselves the Baron, and now they're looking to transfer it around this map. Once again, it's Doublelift doing all the damage for his team, but it is just not enough.
And that was what I was going to say, right? Jensen forcing the Zhonyas. Xmithie dead right off the bat. Impact's trying to peel someone in the backline. There's no one helping him out in the damage department in that fight because you saw how low he got multiple members of ahq. If there's a shockwave that lands, if there's a Gragas combo that hits, all of a sudden, TL is wiping them off across the map, but, ahq is pressuring the targets they need to, and even just putting Jensen into that early Zhonyas meant he's not going to have the assistance.
And I think that this is an opportunity where someone else from Liquid has to step up in a team fight because every single time, Doublelift is pumping out as much damage as he can. His positioning has been quite good. He hasn't been caught out by the initial engage. And yet they're still losing out on what is nearly a 4-item Xayah. This is going to be an execution game. Whilst the scaling is there, the ultimates are still going to pack the punch onto the carries. And Liquid need to be able to navigate the big cooldowns better than this.
We'll see whether they can defend their turrets here as the inner is now in trouble in the mid lane. Bottom side of the map is also being pushed by Ziv. So Rainbow looking for impact, does find the stun as Wako going to get the activation on the killer instinct. Xmithie gets on forward, does go golden, but Wako does the same thing, but on the wrong position of the map. He stays alive for so damn long, but it is not long enough. And is going to be taken down. It's a 1-for-1, but I'll take jungle for AD any day of the week if I'm TL.
Yeah, exactly. That's a big kill for them. Taking down Wako is going to take a lot of the teeth out of the rest of this Baron power play. They're likely going to not be able to get much more whatsoever on the map, so TL breathe a bit of a sigh of relief there as they do limp away, not extending that gold lead.
And I do want to say that was a big mistiming on going aggressive because top lane was just starting to come in. Mid lane was crashing and they had an opportunity to take down bottom and start sieging out on the base. However, once again, they see the opportunity. They think they have to take the decisive fight. But this time, I think they got it a bit wrong.
And something I've got to point out now is Doublelift hitting that 4th completed item. He is now at 100% crit on this Xayah. We saw how much damage he was putting out, even in some of these disorganized fights from Team Liquid. So if Team Liquid can get that one engage where they are the ones starting it off with CoreJJ and a decent shockwave, Doublelift could shred through the team, no problem.
But crucially, none of them are armor, and it doesn't look like he's going towards it. So one misplay in this game, he will still get deleted by Rainbow, who's having a much improved performance this time around. I respect it from Doublelift. I think it is the right call, but now his execution, especially with that ultimate, needs to be flawless.
And Ziv just demonstrating the damage that Equalizer does in a lot of these team fights by edging out Doublelift by about 30 damage.
Yeah, probably about 3/4 of that was that one Equalizer walking over to the Raptor pit on the whole team.
And also burning crocodiles for the majority of the early game was something that he was doing quite a lot. So a bit of a barbecue up towards the top side into laying down those red carpets.
Have you ever barbecued crocodile? We're one of the only country that does eat our national animals a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I've eaten kangaroo, but I haven't eaten crocodile, no. Although I hear it's good.
Yeah, I hear it's good as well.
But I don't know who I heard it from, and I don't know how accurate it was. It's just a thing that I've heard, you know? Down the grapevine as we move up towards the bottom side. Inner turret is going to fall as ahq taxiing this minion wave towards the inhibitor turret. Team Liquid looking for a team fight as Ziv has to flash to get out of the way. Remember, Rainbow, he is dynamite. Look for that guy, see where he's going to make the engages, but now Rumble without a flash, and ahq not going to push further.
Yeah, and I like the patience there from TL to just take the flash and take that advantage, back off, allow it to reset. Because that is going to make it a harder job now for Ziv coming into this next team.
And they really need Jensen to have his hat before they fight again. Whilst Jensen has had a shocking game so many times, one good Orianna ultimate will just swing everything back in your favor and rewrite everything that has gone wrong so far in this game for Jensen. So that's discipline. And I think that was a split call from ahq again, because it looked like everyone else was leaving, while Ziv was once again re-aggressing on that turret. As a Rumble, very strange decision.
Yeah, it really was. It kind of felt to me like you're feeling a little bit of the pressure to actually get some damage down on the turrets and accelerate the game, perhaps before Jensen can kind of farm his way back into it.
Look at the flank again coming across from Rainbow as well. He's on the flip side of the map. He's not going to be approaching with his team, and there are no lane wards to spot him out.
See where the minion wave is going to be. Is ahq going to move on up? They spot Team Liquid coming on out. They don't have eyes on absolutely everyone, but another dredge line is going to land on Doublelift once again. A huge supreme display of talent. It is complemented by the equalizer, and now Impact's trying to fix it, trying to restore balance, but he can't. He just takes down the Nautilus, and ahq have found another beautiful team fight.
I mean, that should be the game, honestly. There's potential here for them to just run it down with 4 members alive here. Only Ysera is missing. It's going to be up to Xmithie and Jensen. They'll have to clear out these waves. At the very least, ahq can retreat to the Baron, but they want the game.
And you can see that it is going to be cannon still up. However, that's over aggression.
Yep, Rainbow is going to go down to the GA. Xmithie still going to be there. He's still got damage. Jensen as well, and they are going to be able to defend for now, but it should be Baron as it just spawned.
But that's a misplay. If you cannot end, that is a massive piece of utility gone from Rainbow. No longer going to have the GA available means the next fight, he cannot play that aggressively.
Yeah, certainly the case. I mean, he's positioning that aggressively only because they want the win. And now with him this low, I mean, potentially even just an ult from Xmithie could kill him, so he's got to be very, very careful. Xmithie here looking for the steal, potentially.
Yep, teleport is going to go.
Oh!
The steal for Xmithie. He may have saved it, but Team Liquid as another equalizer comes down. It's once again very, very strong, but Alex is not going to survive. Team Liquid say, thanks for the leash. We'll take a kill as well, and we'll back away.
And we asked who else was going to stand up, and it is Xmithie, the veteran jungler, again saving the day for Liquid.
You do not take a smite fight against Xmithie. He is known for it. Some of his career-defining moments have been at the neutral objectives. Q in the pit, ultimate, body slam in, timed with the smite. That is perfection. And Xmithie keeping Team Liquid's hopes alive in this game.
And you can see that Alex wasn't able to use the smite in that play as well. However, does steal a nice barrel to ensure that 4 members remain alive. This game still far from over. 14 seconds on the jungler. And Elder Drake is about to spawn.
Yeah, it was fantastic stuff from Xmithie, but I have to shout out Impact. Getting that teleport in on the control ward at 1 hit point away made sure they kept that vision available so that smite could happen. And Elder Drake, now this is a really strong one as Team Liquid pick it up. Augmented, double Infernal Drakes, but CoreJJ cannot find the quickness, and Wako gets himself out.
That was actually pretty sick from Wako. That was really clean to avoid that. That could be game ending if you die right there to the Baroned up Eldered team as the main carry, and a slick little move to stay alive.
That is a saving flash for next game meme waiting to happen if you get it wrong there for Wako. And again, they dropped the equalizer just to force Liquid back.
Going to be a redemption traded for it. It's still going to be a lot missing from ahq's side. That equalizer going to be important, as well as the killer instinct, which should be available coming on up. As Rainbow does have that ultimate back, doesn't have the GA. We will keep our eyes on that mid laner from ahq.
And now I'm interested to see how Liquid try and close this out, because there isn't the best wave clear on ahq. So I think if they split the map, it shows that they don't actually think they win team fights, even with the scaling comp, because of how the game has gone. And they instead want to be able to break up Ziv and Rainbow's ultimates.
Now, that being said, it's going to be a lot more difficult for ahq to execute when TL is running straight at you, right? ahq has been pulling off a lot of these fights in the jungle corridors where TL has been funneling into them, and now TL is on the aggressive. They are the ones pushing forward, and as long as they keep vision of Rainbow coming at these angles, TL should be the ones in control.
And a lot of the time, it's actually the destroyed turrets that start to provide the areas for Qiyana ult. You have to be able to push them back slightly. Teams are not going to retreat through the jungle. Have to give TL more credit than that. You can see that the wave clear is going to start hurting now for ahq.
Yep, we're seeing some of that indecision coming back as well. I was going to compliment ahq on their ability to pull the trigger, even if it wasn't necessarily the greatest move in the mid to late game, but they have been making choices. They have been just starting up fights. Now, though, it looks like they are not quite ready to pull that trigger. 25 seconds on the Elder Drake. They're trying to wait it out as the inhibitor about to fall down on the bottom side. Only Ziv to try and keep that one alive, but Doublelift with a couple of autos is going to secure it. The inhibitor turret in the mid lane should survive for the next little while. Team Liquid able to break the base. Bottom side, another dredge line is going to land. Jensen once again has to go into the Zhonyas as that's a supreme display of talent onto 4 members, and then the killer instinct in the back line to augment it. Impact once again trying to be the hero, but he can't do it. A double kill for Alex, as if
Or can he?
can! Diving over the base gates. The Dominus is there, and I spoke too soon. The Crocodile is king.
Top die as Impact stands tall, knocking down multiple members. Xmithie and Doublelift barely able to keep the Team Liquid AD carry. They're alive as Wako dove through on the back of that supreme display of talent, and now TL, they want to close this one out.
Yep, Alex now trying to defend. He's got a fair bit of damage onto these minions as Ysera, down to half health, very quickly is just destroyed by the Kulvermeek, and they definitely are. After that team fight from Impact, one more Nexus turret stands in the way of Team Liquid as Alex now with the Dominus, but he's shut down. No dominance today, as there is going to be the backdoor bonus, but Team Liquid are done on Summoner's Rift for this game. The Nexus will be taken down, and ahq, they were winning until they lost. Team Liquid get the win.
And I learned this yesterday, but in North America, they say, we'll take those. A very close affair right now, but it is ultimately Liquid that will move to 2-1 in their group.
Yep, the win still counts. It's still up there on the board. Team Liquid certainly some things to take away from that one, but you also have to look, not only at the mistakes that Liquid had, but also at the successes, right? Again, I think a really, really strong showing here from Impact in particular. He was incredible and has been a real standout for me throughout this international event. And also credit to ahq, their opponents. I think this is by far and away the best showing that we have seen from ahq, and a team that can perform to this level certainly can be dangerous in the second round robin.
And I think answered a lot of questions, why is Rainbow subbing in for Worlds? What is this last minute change? Why do they keep going towards these wombo combo mid-game comps? But this time around, their execution, their decisiveness, and the ability to find creative flanks was so improved.
And so much of it was not just the teamfight execution, it was the preambles to it, right? It was the setting up of vision, the controlling of corridors, the flanks enabled by the Duskblade and knowing you're not spotted, and constantly having those wards set up around Baron, set up around Dragon in these jungle corridors so that TL was forced into these difficult face check situations where they could capitalize on it. And that's something they were missing completely in the last couple days.
Because you do need the fundamentals, and I keep going back to it, but the ability to push in mid lane, get that priority first, and then be able to generate what felt like really good and advantageous situations does show that they're not just, a wombo combo team, but they are able to position Liquid where they need to on the map. And this is a veteran lineup that they're playing against, so very well executed.
Yep, really nicely done. But let's check out some highlights from this game. I want to see how Team Liquid were able to pull this one back after moments like this where ahq looked like they really had their number.
I like the highlight. 4 people getting roasted. They're in the barbecue pit. And Rainbow was able to come through. And really, so much of this fight was about the ultimate from the Nautilus. Forcing the ultimate out of Xayah here allowed Rainbow to go through with the perfect execution. The coordination on a lot of these fights was great. And Ysera in those early stages was constantly finding the engages.
However, if you dodge out on an ultimate, if you Zhonya's an ultimate, it shouldn't still kill half your team. And every time, that's what we saw, Rainbow just being able to light up the Serene. I thought this one was maybe the funniest because there's no way he's intending to hit Doublelift, and yet he nearly removes him from the map.
Yeah, I mean, Wako going to the back line there. Look how close this fight was. Xmithie had to get over over and just barely able to save him with the body slam flash. If that doesn't come through, Doublelift dies, and then the healing from Impact shredding through in that backline fight. We all thought he was about to go down.
I thought he was dead. Yeah, I thought that was going to be the ahq team fight. You saw the beginning of that. I think there was a collective 1,500 health on the TL members at the very beginning of the fight, and they still managed to win. Just ridiculous stuff. But after the break, we'll hear from Xerxes before he and Splice face a tough challenge against FPX. See you in a few.
To pay that back.
Yep, the Abductive Scon can come in there, lands the chains as Jensen's going to flash, but it ain't going to be enough. Alex just poking there with the Q. Ysera's going to dive in. It's a brilliant equalizer as immediately the Gragas is going to fall. The supreme display of talent into the backline. Don't have eyes on absolutely everyone, but another dredge line is going to land on Doublelift once again. A huge supreme display of talent. It is complemented by the equalizer, and now Impact's trying to fix it. Yeah, teleport is going to go. The steal for Xmithie. He may have saved it, but Team Liquid as another equalizer comes down. It's once again very, very strong. Jensen once again has to go into the Zhonya's as that's a supreme display of talent onto 4 members, and then the killer instinct in the backline to augment it. Impact once again trying to be the hero, but he can't do it. A double kill for Alex as if
or can he?
And the Nexus will be taken down. And ahq, they were winning until they lost.
So Josh, you going for our Drive Safe and Save discount?
Yep. Using the app, driving safe.
You wanna go? You wanna go, bro?
Hey, do not mess with my discount. Woo! You can save up to 30%.
Let's go!
Nice to meet you. Go get him, Tiger.
Sounds like you've got this.
Yeah, definitely.
Get a discount up to 30% with Drive Safe and Save from State Farm.